I want you to just grab a cup of coffee, pull up a chair, do whatever you're doing, but we're going to be making spring creamy, I can say it right. I made up a name for it because I thought it sounded better than what I knew it as. We're going to call it creamy spring pasta with chicken, because doesn't that sound yummy? And it does. It tastes like spring to me because it has vegetables. It's a nice light cream sauce that we're going to mix in. We're making it over here. I got my pot of ready for my noodles, and we're gonna get to cooking here in a minute. It's the kind of thing that if you have a couple of vegetables on hand or even in your fridge or your freezer, uh, you can go from there, and you probably have pasta. You probably have maybe some cream or something, milk, whatever it is. We're gonna wing it, and actually you're gonna see some different ways that I'm gonna wing it tonight because even I was missing all the ingredients. So here we go. Creamy spring pasta, and hopefully that fan isn't too loud, but I think you're going to get too much in your face, my face. Anyway, whatever. Let's just go. We're cooking. What do I have going on? Before I do anything is I'm going to do the chicken. And my oven has been preheated to 400 degrees. And what I have over here is some chicken. Now I stepped to the store about an hour ago, and the chicken that they had that was cheaper than chicken breast was chicken tenderloins. And the chicken tenderloins are kind of mostly thawed, but not 100%. So I'm gonna do it like I would do a chicken breast, cook it for 18 minutes in my oven after I season it, and go from there. So this is the rectangular stone. It's from Pampered Chef. So if you didn't know that, I'm a Pampered Chef lady, and yes, I do peddle my wares, so you can go check out my link and check all that out. But the reason I do that is because I use all this stuff in my kitchen and I love it. So I'm just sharing with you what I love. Anyway, I like stoneware for chicken and for many things because it keeps it nice and juicy and it cooks it evenly. So the pan itself heats up, and then it's going to heat your food, and so it just does it very nicely. So think breads, think even like convenience foods. Like it makes the best darn pizza rolls in the world if you're eating pizza rolls. Like who would have not? Anyway, stoneware is the best. So I have salt and pepper. I haven't salt and peppered my chicken yet. You're going to want to do that. I can do both sides. I'm not going to touch it and whatever. You want to do that. You can season it with whatever else you want. Maybe you want to add a little different flavor, but I'm not going to use all this chicken tonight. I'm cooking ahead and going from there. So as you're joining in, if you want to holler and say hi, feel free to do so. If you want to be a creeper, you can do that too, I suppose. But I'm going to put this lid on here. This is sold as another piece individually, but it goes on here, and you can actually cook on top of it while you're cooking something else. So I like lasagna and garlic bread. And I go from there. What are you doing? Well, we are making that spring chicken and pasta. So I pop the chicken in the oven. I'm going to set my timer, or I will forget. We're going to do 18 minutes and go from there. So let me set my timer here. I'll go right past 18. I'll have to go back down. That's usually how that goes. So, all right. This is going. This is nice amount of salt in here. Got our. You don't like chicken? You can leave the chicken out. A lot of times I'll do this vegetarian. You could throw in frozen shrimp. You can do whatever floats your boat. It would be great with a white bean too. You do that too. You're a boy. Okay. Sounds good. Anyway, get this going. Now I'm gonna have to pay attention because I have one timer and two things cooking, so there this goes. This has been warming up over here though. What I have going here is just some olive oil, and we're warming it up. Chicken nuggets work. You could do that. We're gonna get our veggies ready, and because of the way my chicken is facing, I love that everyone's just timing in on this chicken thing. I'm gonna move you over here, so just hold on for the ride here. I didn't know how else to do this because I have a fancy tracking thing, but it doesn't track very well. So we're gonna do it like this. All right, so I have some vegetables and we're gonna get them ready. So I need to get my carrots ready first, and I'm gonna use my peeler. This is a peeler, it's kind of cool. It can go like a Y shape, or you can do it the other way, which I prefer the other way just because that's what I'm used to. And peel my carrot. I'll get that out of my tomato in just a minute. I like the nice thin peels on that. instead of me cutting it really thin, I'm actually just going to kind of make some shreds over here and go from there. Another thing that I think is really cool, I don't know if you can see it very well. You see him flying off there? There is a julienne peeler that comes in this set, and it makes little strips. So I'll just show it to you just so you can see what it's like. I could finish it up this way. And instead of it doing thin little spirals like this, you're getting little strips like this. What state am I in? State of confusion most of the time. But I do live in South Dakota of all places, so either you like that or you don't like that, but in all actuality, South Dakota is very calm and quiet and nobody bothers you. So maybe I'll just keep going with this. It doesn't matter, they're going to cook about the same rate. So got one. For the sake of being on the camera, I'll just do it real fast like this. And I'm going to prep my green onions next. So things that I usually keep on hand in my fridge are some carrots, right? I also like to keep green onions on hand, although our little grocery store doesn't always keep things nice and fresh. They do a good job, but sometimes things just aren't quite right and I don't want to use it, so they'll sit in there for a while and you might get some icky layers on the outside, or maybe you have a vegetable hospice in your fridge and you forget about the things that you have in your drawer, and that's okay, because this is one of those vegetables where you can forget about them for a while and it's still okay. You might have an outside that looks really slimy and gooey, but all you're going to do is peel it off and throw it. And you can see I already did that because it's, I didn't want to gross you out entirely, but got my green onion. I'm going to cut the end off. What part do you eat on the green onion? Well, I'm going to cut this icky part off because I told you I got some icky stuff. But otherwise, you eat the entire thing. You can go from here all the way to there. So if you don't like the crunchy stuff, you can leave it behind, but I'm going to move you back over. Oh, let me trip this tomato before I move you entirely. One more thing I want to show you. All these noodles are cooking, and now I'm in time crunch. I stir my pasta just a minute. All right. These tomatoes, if I want to have them, if you don't have them, which you don't have to have them, it's kind of a tongue twister. What you can do is put them in there and then expect them to pop. So you're going to put the lid on top of your pan, and then when they start to pop, you're going to grab something like this mix and chop. That's great for meat, but you can also squish your tomatoes and then they'll stop exploding everywhere. But in this case, I'm going to show you how to cut these in half. This is called the closing cut. It has springs on either side. If I had a big chicken breast, I can slide that in there and cut it in half. In this case, I'm just going to cut my tomatoes in half and do it really slick and fast. And if you have kids at home, like I do, it works great for cutting grapes. Oops, that's my red knife. Grabbing the wrong knife. Grapes in half so you get those choking hazards out of the way. I'm going to try to turn this so you can see what I'm doing. So here's the closing part. I'm going to open it just a bit to get my knife in here. And then you're going to cut toward the back and open it. And these are all cut in half now. So super easy to do. I'm going to do one more bunch for my pint of tomatoes. Whoop! Last one on the floor. I'll get it later. The sink is right behind you. You're actually kind of part in the sink. If you wonder how my layout is. There we go. Good enough. I was kind of not pushing right, but oh, I just lost a bunch more. Well, good thing you're not eating off my floor tonight. Although it would probably be pretty tasty. Okay, we're going to move back over here. Try to get it all lined back up again. So you can see. Okay. I'm going to move those tomatoes so I don't step on them. And here we go. This is super hot oil now. It is shimmering away. I'm really got to get something in it. All right, first thing we're going to add, and this is going to be really hot now, those carrots. So I'm going to grab the carrots and toss them in. And it won't take long. If you don't like them this long, you can cut it in half. and go from there. Grab the rest of the carrots here. I was trying to show you everything and not have to move the camera, and that isn't actually how I would have done it. I would have done one at a time and then move to the next thing, but for the sake of you not getting sick. I'm a person who gets car sick. Anybody else get car sick? If you are, I'm trying to spare you the hassle of not getting sick. There you go. Good enough. We're just going to kind of let those soften a bit. I actually like to have my whites of my green onion a little softer too, so I'm going to grab that shear. And just cut the whites in right now. The greens, if you put them in now, they're going to get too mushy and soft and slimy. So I'm going to go up to about that light green mark, about where that joint is, and just cut them there. The rest of this is going to be easy because when I throw in a tomato, I can just bring the whole cutting board over and dump it in. Alright. Got those carrots going. The other thing I have in here is some peas. These are just frozen peas. It's a cup. We always have frozen peas in our freezer, so that's another one of those things I'm just pulling out of my cupboard. I don't have to worry about it. We're good to go. While we're talking here, I'm going to grab out my colander because I forgot to grab that, and my noodles are almost done. So, get that done now. And now we wait. We have a little reprieve. So, other things that are going to go in here. We have some seasoning that's going to go in. We have some cream. We have a little vegetable broth, or whatever broth you want to use. Not quite there. A couple minutes. Alright. Next I'm going to add those tomatoes. They're a little bit, the carrots are slightly soft now. Carrots take a little bit, or carrots. The tomatoes take a little bit of time. I like the I can't talk about, I'm sorry. Let's try over. Okay. I like these flexible mats because you just dump it in then. And you don't have to pick up your stuff over and over like I had to do with carrots. So, anyway. If you wonder what anything is while I'm going, go ahead and tell me. So I'm just cooking with the stuff I usually use, but I can tell you more about it if you'd like. I'm going to add just a tiny bit of salt now. And the reason I'm going to do that is not because I necessarily need it a ton saltier, but it's going to keep the carrots tasting like carrots and the tomatoes tasting like tomatoes. And I like that, so just a tiny bit will get that and lock that flavor in so that they're not all tasting like one giant vegetable all at the same time. Hope that makes sense. Anyway, while it's going, I have this sauce that we're going to make, and it is heavy whipping cream. You can use half and half. I don't recommend much lighter than that because it's going to get pretty runny. So if you do the half and half, you're going to want to bump down your liquid. You probably aren't going to add much more liquid. I like the creaminess of it, and the reason being is it's not an entirely cream-based thing. We're not going to have a ton of cheese in it. We're not going to have a ton of whatever. So by using the full fat stuff, it looks like it's a lot, but we're coating an entire pound of pasta with it, and we're using all these vegetables, and by the time you get it all mixed in, it soaks in. It's really not that much. So I highly recommend going with full fat on this so you get that feeling. Otherwise you're going to be like, oh, I need more cheese, or it's not quite enough, it just doesn't taste, or it tastes watery. So go with the full fat if you have it. Wing it if you don't, okay? Alright, now that we got this tomato going in here, I'm going to go ahead and add in some of the green onions, get the rest of those in, and the peas. If you don't have green onions, but you have another thing, like maybe you have some fresh parsley, I wouldn't add that in now. But toward the end, it's going to get you that same vibe of freshness, which is what we're going for with this spring pasta. All right, we have another hi. Oh, I'm back in cooking. Yes, I am. We had a crazy scheduling thing with the kids last week, so I skipped last week. It's going to happen sometimes. That's what life is like. But when I can get in the kitchen and cook, it's a lot of fun. And we eat better. Right? I'm sure you're kind of the same way. Sometimes you're just making do, and sometimes you can go all out. So this is one of those recipes where I have a lot more responsibility. One, the Are you an al dente noodle person, or do you like it a little softer? I think you were slightly softer than that. All right, if you lost me, apparently my connection bonkers, but here I am, I'm back. Sometimes I don't have things on hand, like broth. This is a good option if you're cool with that, okay? So this is something I'm gonna do with a little bit of water with that cream. So instead of me forgetting about it, while I'm standing here and I have time, I'm just gonna mix it with my cream, because it will all go in about the same time. It's about a teaspoon for a cup of liquid. So if you wonder how does that work, it's about like that. I'll put this back in my fridge. You are right in front of my fridge on this side, so someday I'll give you a tour of my kitchen just so you can see what the layout's like and you're not like, I wonder how it looks. It just looks like a kitchen. It's nothing fancy, but I make good things, I guess. So this is about where I want this to be. And here's where I normally would add some white wine. And usually I have some wine that was in a bag and it's like the end of it that you can't get out unless you're gonna like get out and suck it out like you're a weirdo. But I take that and I just, instead of the whole box, I'll take just the bag out and I put it in my fridge and then I use that for cooking. So it's my red wine and my white wine. But apparently I'm out and I didn't know I was out. And I was gonna grab a lemon. I was like, well, I'm not gonna grab a lemon when I'm at the store because I know I have the white wine and I'd rather use that. So here I am with no lemon and no white wine, and this dish really does need a little something to brighten it up. So if you're in the boat that I'm in, real lemon, which is not really real lemon, I mean it is, but this lemon stuff is going to come to the rescue at the end. It'll be fine. In the grand scheme of things, it's going to do the job, but I do prefer doing a white wine right now at this time, and I like that the best. The other option you can do is zest, and I prefer zest over the juice in this one. I think that it doesn't overpower it. It gives that freshness, that springtime flavor, but without adding all the, like, it's not like, oh yeah, this is definitely lemon all over in here. So since we're not doing that, I'm just gonna go ahead and add in my cream and my broth, which I don't actually have my broth, but do that. I need a cup of liquid, so I'm gonna grab my water quick. I bet my pasta's about done. So these measuring cups, it's gonna be hard for you to see from here, but when I start pouring this water on here, you see these measure markings? They work so that you can set this cup in front of you and do your measuring instead of you having to measure and then crouch down and see if you're all lined up. Like, you can do it right from the top, and it's designed to do that. So I love that. Love it. Super handy. These are actually on sale, so I want to tell you about the sale. They're part of the best seller deals. This stone that I have in the oven, that one is one of them. The mix and chop I mentioned is too. So if you have not shopped Pampered Chef for a while or ever, if you don't have another consultant, you can go to my link that's up. If you go click on me, I don't know what the right terminology is for YouTube, so you're gonna have to help me since I'm new to this. So YouTube, go to my YouTube page, like where you subscribe, and there's a link, and it says heartfulwoman.com/links. And if you click that, you will find where my Pampered Chef shop is. And if there's another word that I should be saying here, and you're cool and you know it, and I don't, feel free to share, okay? I appreciate it. So I'm gonna kind of turn that up a little bit. This burner is kind of a slow burner, but I also don't want that cream to start to boil. So you do want to keep an eye on that. Okay, check my noodle now. We are good. We are more than good. Well, it's not too soft. It's just where we like it. So pop on. By the way, these are all my stainless pans that you're seeing. There's like these little handles, and you pop them on here, and then you don't have to get out the whole mitts. It's pretty awesome. I'm gonna pour most of this out, but I am gonna leave a little bit of pasta water just in case I need to thicken it up or thin it out a little bit. Which sounds wonky, but it works because of the starch. So here's how I did that. I dumped most of this out, and then I put this colander right back into my pan before all that water came out, and so then I have some saved on the bottom of the pan. kind of my cheater way, but it works. This is coming up to heat now. And the other thing I'm going to add in here that I have not added yet is some seasoning salt. I do like this one. It has less junk in it than the stuff you get at the store. It's pretty clean, so I like that. But it has all the same great flavors of seasoning salt. And this is like my go-to if I'm making, if you're from the Midwest, you know about Taco John's. So this is how I can make homemade potato olays, which are amazing. Maybe I'll share that on my social later this week so you know about that. But I don't want to turn that off because I'll forget about my chicken, but it'll be fine for a little bit. We're going to add about a tablespoon. We'll kind of go from there. It depends on how salty your broth is. It depends on what you prefer. But I'm going to go with that, and then I might need to add a little bit more later. So it's going to go by. Okay, I'm going to make a corner for my chicken. This over here, scoop this over. And I will get out my mitts now. And a hot pad for the chicken. So what I'm going to do is test this and see if we are up to temp. Like I said, this was a little bit frozen when I put it in, just slightly. Like I wouldn't want to put a whole frozen chicken in here because that would possibly split the pan. It wouldn't be good. But in this case, I think it may be okay. We are not quite done. We're going to put it back in for a bit. Apparently they were more frozen than I thought. All right. We're checking about 10 minutes. I really think that it might take that long just because they were still frozen. This is what real life cooking is like. So while this thickens up, I'm trying to think of what else. What do you want to know? Once the chicken is actually done, what I'll do is I'll just I can slice it up. I can serve it just as it is, since it is tenderloins. But go from there. I will tell you that when I bake my chicken in the oven, what I usually will do is cut it in half so that it cooks faster. Because it was those tenderloins, I didn't, and so they're like small, but they get kind of fat. And so that could also play into it. It's like it was going to be a challenge to cut that right now, and so that's what we're doing. All right, I'm going to put a lid on this if I can't get this up to where I want it to be. There is an optional topping that you could do if you felt like this. So get some Parmesan. You can use the sprinkle kind if you want. I'm not going to be a total purist, okay? So you can get the sprinkle kind if you want, or you can do the kind that you're going to have to shred yourself, and you can mix it with some breadcrumbs and add a little bit more of that seasoning salt in there, and you can sprinkle it on top at the end. So if you want to have some crunch that way, you can do that, especially if you're eating it the vegetarian style. You're not adding anything else for your protein. It will just give you a little different something for your tooth, and I think you'll appreciate it a little bit more. So I'm going to put a lid on this pasta too so it stays a little warmer while we're waiting. But how I'm going to serve this is I will actually put the noodles into here and get it all stirred up and then put the chicken on top. And that will look amazing. Tastes amazing. And I'm just waiting for this to come to a boil. Not to an actual boil, but to get to the point where it starts to bubble a little bit and we're nice and thick. Other vegetables or ways that I do this, if I'm grabbing just things in my pantry, because you might not have fresh tomatoes and you really like tomatoes and you're like, oh, I can't make this dish. I have done diced tomatoes that I drain and put them in. It works great. It's totally fine. You don't have to worry about cutting them in half that way. It's a great taste. We talked about the parsley thing. Maybe you wanted to do basil and give it more of an Italian flavor, and you can do that. It'll give it a little more of that vibe. Let's see, what else could you put in? I'm sure you have some ideas too, so go ahead and shout out. If you have like frozen broccoli florets, that might work well. Or the chopped broccoli. Actually, that's what I mean. Not florets are kind of big. You'd have to pre-cook those. But if you had like the frozen, just the little chopped broccoli, you could put some of that in. It would get a little fine, so I mean, do it the way you want. But you can wing it. You can do those kinds of things that you have on hand. Maybe you absolutely detest peas and you don't want to have peas, but you want to have something green. You could do something like, if you have bell peppers, and you can get like chopped frozen bell peppers and you could throw those in. And then you wouldn't have to have anything fresh necessarily, but you could have that stuff. I like having pantry staples that do multiple duties. They can stand in when I don't have that ingredient on hand, when I'm trying to put something together and I don't know what exactly I'm doing. I think it's really helpful. So anyway, do you have any questions for me while we're just waiting for this? I can hear it starting to wanting to bubble a little bit, and I want to show it to you actually. At least put that part together, and then we'll see what the chicken's doing, since it was the frozen wild card. This is exactly how real cooking goes, doesn't it? Please tell me I'm not the only one that has these things. But that's the joy of being live here too, is that I can never predict all the things that could go wrong. But you can do things the wrong way and still end up with a fantastic dish that feeds your family, that that you guys enjoy. And sometimes, just like Bob Ross says, there's some happy accidents, right? So this is getting nice and steamy here, and I'm liking it a lot. All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn this back down because I don't want that to boil, but I do want it to keep getting a little bit warmer. If you're joining in and you haven't said hi yet, feel free to. I'd like to know where you're joining from, because I did share. I'm in South Dakota, so maybe you're joining from somewhere far away. I think last time we had somebody who was joining us from England, so anyway. You be fancy, or you could just be from North Dakota. Who knows? I can't knock North Dakota anymore, because there is actually a lady on Food Network who's from North Dakota, and yeah, that's how that goes. We have nothing better to do than to cook, right? All right. I switched to my pasta fork. I'm going to go ahead and turn this a little bit so you can see more of what I'm doing, maybe. So I switched to my pasta fork. I'm just going to go ahead and mix this in a little bit. This is a little liquidy-ish. I should have maybe paid attention to where we were at, just to see. But it will be okay, because as it cools, as it soaks into this pasta and gets that flavor in there, it will thicken up and it'll be just fine. Right now it's really hot, so it looks thinner than what it actually would end up to be when you're serving it. So, and you can see how pretty this is getting as the colors come together, the flavors come together. Lean it over a little bit more so you can see it better. This is going to be fantastic. It's worth the wait for my chicken. The chicken says it has 4 minutes left. I don't think you can watch me for 4 more minutes just to see the chicken, but let's peek at it and see where we're at. And if it takes longer than this, I'm going to tell you how I'm going to finish it, and we'll just call it a night, and you're going to have to go and follow me on social and see what that picture looks like at the end, okay? All right, here we go. The trick to cooking chicken in this baker is you don't want to cook super, super hot. You don't want to cook to like 170, because you're going to end up with rubber chicken. So we're looking at that 160 to 165 range. And then you're going to let it sit covered in here for 5 minutes, and it will finish cooking. I promise you it will, because the heat is trapped in this pan inside the actual pan itself, and it will finish cooking, and it will do it evenly. So you end up with juicy chicken breast in your oven and not dried out and undone in the middle. Okay? That's the key to this. Okay? So, oh, and it is not looking pink anymore, so that's good. But it might be a little bit on the inside, so let me see where we're at. Grab my fancy tong here. If you have not seen tongs like this, it locks this way and unlocks this way. So you pinch it, and then you pinch it again, and it will open. So that way it stores a little better, but it still workable. I'm gonna stab this into the middle here. I have a feeling we might not quite be there since they were frozen. If it had not been frozen, we would have been done by now. Oh, it might be better than I think. We're up to 150 and climbing. If I get to 160, then I'm just going to put the lid on it and we're going to let it rest. Oh, I got it. All right. Just went there. All right. Pop this on here. We're going to let it rest. I'm going to set my timer again. 5 minutes. All right. Now I can see that my pasta is just starting to bubble. That liquid is going bloop, bloop, bloop. What that means is that I am free now to go ahead and turn this down a little bit. I'm going to let it stay warm on the stove. It's still going to be on like really low to just that simmer setting until my chicken is done. And then I will take my shears and go chop, chop, pop that on there, and dinner is done. If you want to add some Parmesan on top at the end, you sure can, but you don't have to. Oh, and I almost forgot that lemon juice. So we're going to do, let's see, trying to think, maybe just like a tablespoon. I won't go too crazy here. I'll use that same one I used for the salt. I do feel like I need to taste it and see, just to tell you if it needed a little more something. Because then you'll know if you make it at home. All right, let me stir this in. Okay. I'm gonna grab a fork. I won't eat right off the pasta fork, okay? That's kind of gross, right? I mean, it is my own kitchen, but there is a line that we draw. And that one would be, I'm not going to eat right off the pasta fork, okay? This might be too hot. Might have too much. Well, we'll see. That's pretty darn good. So I think right now I have an option. I might sprinkle a little bit more of the seasoning salt in. I think that was the right amount of lemon. It gave it that little bit that if you didn't have it, it doesn't quite taste right. If you don't have that lemon juice or zest or something, it needs just a tiny bit of something. But my option is I could add a little more seasoning salt because it could use just a tiny bit of something else. Or I could go ahead and do some Parmesan, and then that will give that a little extra salt to it, and then it will come together. If you do both, it might be too salty for you, and that's kind of where I'm sitting. So if you never thought about that, I'm actually going to do just a tiny bit here because I don't think I'm going to add cheese, but my kids might eat cheese. They like cheese. When my husband comes home from work and he wants to eat this, he'll probably want some cheese too, so I'm not going to go too crazy. But you can see, if you wanted it to be really fancy, reserve some of those greens at the very end and you can plop it on top and it'll give it that nice brightness. I would not recommend having the whites because they'll be too crunchy, but here's what our dish looks like. I will pick it up and actually bring it to you so you can see it a little bit better before we sign off and we get to eating. Here we are. We are at 34 and some minutes, and I did talking, and we had some bloopers, and it's done. It can be done in 30 minutes. This whole thing, okay? You can feed a herd with this. We're going to have leftovers for a while. But it's super tasty, just fresh, yummy spring pasta with chicken, okay? If you like recipes like this, if you enjoy having things that actually taste good but aren't super complicated, or if you want things that are super simple but don't have a lot of added ingredients that you don't really need to eat and you wonder if it's actually food, you're in the right place. So be sure, I can say this, to subscribe. And you can go follow me on social. I'll show you a picture at the end. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I am other places, but I don't really hang out there because I got too many things to do. I'm a real life mom. And you are probably a real life person with lots of things on your plate too. And what I do hope is that you have something good like this on your plate sometime soon. I'll catch you later. Have an awesome night. I cannot remember how to get out of here. Ah! Here we go.